All right, for those of you that have only done fulfillment by Amazon before and you've never done merchant fulfilled, like me, this is gonna be an interesting experiment for you. I wanna dip my toes in the water with merchant fulfilled, but I wanna see how profitable it can actually be, and specifically how profitable it can be for the average person in the normal situation. Normally people do not have a warehouse to fill up with tons of bookshelves. They've got a house they live in and they can maybe put 1 or 2 bookshelves in their house. But I'm curious how much money 2 bookshelves could actually bring in if you were to go buy 2 of the cheapest bookshelves at Walmart, put them in your house, and keep them always stocked with merchant fulfilled books, how profitable each bookshelf actually would be. So I'm gonna take you guys along for this experiment. We're gonna go to Walmart together. I'm gonna buy 2 of the cheapest bookshelves. Then we're gonna set them up over here against the wall, go to some local thrift stores, find and fill up these bookshelves with books, and then I'll keep them full as things sell over the next 2 weeks, and we'll see how profitable each bookshelf is in a 2-week time period. I'm curious how fast these are gonna sell and how truly profitable it would be to maybe put in 2 bookshelves and start merchant fulfilling if you aren't currently doing that. So let's go to Walmart real fast and buy some bookshelves. All right, they only had 1 bookshelf in stock, so this is now gonna be the 1 bookshelf challenge instead. So this is 5 rows. This is not extremely sturdy for holding a lot of books. They're normally not designed for that. This is probably more like IKEA quality, but it'll do for this experiment. So 5 shelves, 1 bookcase, 2 weeks. We'll see how much we're able to make. Let's set this up real fast and then go out and find some inventory to fill it up with. Bookshelf is all put together. Yes, I know I put the backing on the wrong direction. The black side is on the back, but it doesn't matter because it's in the middle of a warehouse right now. But it's all set up, and by the way, this bookshelf cost $29 plus tax, whatever that was. So $29 bookshelf. It'll be sturdy enough to hold the books we'll need for this experiment. There's 5 shelves. I can adjust these a little bit. They can fit most size books in these shelves. So now I'm gonna go to the computer real fast and screen share and show you guys what I'm doing to set up my triggers to go scout merchant fulfilled. And then we're actually gonna go out to a few thrift stores, find some merchant fulfilled books. I'll tell you how long it takes and how much money that costs. We'll fill these shelves up and then run this experiment for 2 weeks to see what the actual profit from 1 bookshelf in your house could be. Let's go. All right, so now we're gonna set up our merchant fulfilled triggers. I'm here in the dashboard for ScoutIQ. We're gonna click on triggers, this tab at the top, and then we're gonna click on create new trigger set. Right now you guys will probably have just 2 defaults unless you've already created triggers yourself. ScoutIQ default and then the UK default triggers. We're gonna click the new button. All right, now we're gonna just sign this one. We're just gonna say MF. For our MF triggers. Fulfillment method, we're gonna set this to merchant fulfilled. By cost, I'm gonna leave this at 0. I like to figure that out while I'm out and about or scanning books. And then we're gonna leave these fixed costs the same. You guys can adjust these if you know your fixed costs are different. I'm gonna leave these the same. Click Save Trigger Set. And then it'll successfully save the trigger set and you can build out the triggers right here. I'm gonna build out my merchant fulfilled triggers. I'm gonna speed up this part of the video so you don't see me creating each one, but at the very end of it, I'll give you a second where you can pause the screen if you wanna copy these triggers exactly and put them into your ScoutIQ. So I'll get started doing that right now. All right, so this is where you can pause the screen if you want to, and then mark down these triggers. You can keep this up in one tab, open up the portal in another tab, and copy these over if you want to use the same exact merchant fulfilled triggers I'm using right here. Otherwise, you can create whatever merchant fulfilled triggers you want. You can also even use the ScoutIQ default trigger, set it to merchant fulfilled. If you want to keep the same similar profit and ranks to look at and the same triggers that normal FBA has, and then just adjust it slightly for merchant fulfilled. I prefer these trigger sets right here. So now that these are saved, we're going to go open these in the app and then scan some books to fill up that bookshelf. All right, slight change of plans. They did not want me filming in the thrift store I went to, and it was tough to get quality footage anyway. So what I'm going to do instead is I got 2 Gaylords from a local source. This is very similar to what you guys would be doing if you go out and scan at a library or thrift store. I'm just going to scan through all of these books, find the ones that are keepers for merchant fulfilled using the merchant fulfilled triggers we just set up, and the rest of them will be duds, or I'll do wholesale or something else with the rest of these books. But for all intents and purposes, this is the exact same thing. If you went out to a store and scanned through random books, I'm scanning through just a Gaylord of random books. And then we're going to go and fill up the bookshelf with the ones that I find. Hopefully I find enough to fill it up from here, and then we'll go from there with the challenge. So here's a time lapse of me scanning through an entire Gaylord to see how many merchant fulfilled books we can pull from it. All right, with the thrift store run and that Gaylord that I scanned right there, we're able to fill up this bookshelf. As you can see, it's pretty full. There's some, you can't see the whole thing. Let me tilt the camera down here. You can see the bookshelf is pretty filled up there. For the most part, it's filled up. I actually have extra books over here in the corner that I'll be filling up as things sell. I'm not gonna list those right away because my goal is to see how much a single bookshelf could actually make. So we're gonna list everything in this bookshelf. I've not listed these yet, but how I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna list them with Accelerlist, but since Accelerlist does not have a ticketing system yet, I'm actually using raffle tickets. The raffle tickets, because raffle tickets have 2 identical numbers. So what you can do is you can take off a number, you can use this number as the SKU, include it somewhere in the SKU, even if it's the last 4 digits of this number. Stick these inside the book, so there'll be little blue things sticking out of each of these books with the corresponding numbers. Just do them in order, so it goes from the smaller number to the bigger number, because that's how these are laid out anyways. And then you can easily pick orders, and you see an order come through, and the number is 7001. I can go and find 700. I know it's gonna be right after that in order. And as things sell, you move them up and you consolidate them over, so it's still always in numerical order. It's easy to find orders. And like Caleb says, it's kind of the poor man's ticketing version if the listing software you use does not have ticketing functionality. So I'm gonna go list these books. I'm gonna use these raffle tickets. And I also have some poly mailers that I purchased. You can purchase these very cheap off Amazon. So I've got poly mailers and the poor man's merchant fulfilled ticketing system. I'm gonna list these and then we're gonna give it 2 weeks. So come back for part 2 and we'll see how much money a single bookshelf, if you keep it stocked, could actually make if you had one in your home. Thank you guys for watching and I'll see you guys next time.